Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live, not from our comfy couch on the internet.
Yeah, I flipped and realized, and I'm like, now I got to figure out where I had everything because I added extra layers.
I just see that on the Discord end of things, and I'm like, well. But it's the Gaming Saloon for June 29th, 2025, with your host, Peacemaker 2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
It's the end of June with no Nintendo Direct. Properly so.
We had a
I guess,
Direct? What are you talking about?
We didn't have a proper Nintendo Direct, so I guess that breaks the streak of Nintendo Directs in June.
Yeah, but they've always had one in June. That means they'll have one tomorrow.
So help me. If over the course of this stream, or when we end this damn stream, they announce the fucking Direct tomorrow, I'm going to fucking kill somebody. No, don't you dare. You already did that once to me, at least. When we end TGS and, like, I forget what it was, but they announced something. I'm like, God damn it, we just ended. What do you mean? I forget what it was. I will probably not find it so well. But yeah, we have the Bonanza Direct, a Capcom Direct, a Arxis Direct that is 90% not fighting games because Arxis makes not fighting games, and then some miscellaneous news. But first, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
I mean, one of them's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's more just been a lot of miscellaneous Switch 2 stuff. Trying out different things from Switch 1 and seeing how much better the Switch 2 actually can handle it.
Apparently, Scarlet and Violet are the only ones getting the bump from Switch 2 of the Pokemon games.
Sword and Shield ought to at least load quicker for certain things.
Okay, it wasn't brought up. I was in a speedrunner stream, kind of listening to their stream, and they said, yeah, we did the split for Scarlet and Violet because the vast improvement there.
Yeah,
but
I knew they did that. I think there's another game that I'm wanting to say also did the same thing because of the vast difference.
It's not BDSP because that apparently didn't get much of anything worth noting, and it's not Arceus because that didn't get anything apparently worth noting. So they didn't split the leaderboards on those. So that it's not enough of a bump on Switch 2 to warrant a leaderboard split.
I do know from Odyssey, I think it was speculated that it would save, I'm wanting to say it was a minute per hour played just off of load times alone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sit there and think about it, that's really not going to change anything for any percent. Darker and 880 all would.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember what the times are for those. I know any percent, is it sub 2 or 2 currently?
Any percent, I think, sub 1.
Okay. I didn't remember.
I know it's well below 2 because mine is, I'm wanting to say my old run, PB was like a 2 hour, or not a 2 hour, an hour and a half kind of deal. So no, I know it's that. I'm wanting to say it's sub 1 already.
Yes, it's sub 1.
So any percent's not going to change anything.
World Peace is 110.
World Peace, it probably is not going to change because it's, for the most part, the any percent route.
Dark Side's 130.
And then it won't change Dark Side, really. So it is just darker and 880.
Yeah, Dark Side is 3. All Moons is 7. And a Hundo is 830.
So yeah, it really is only going to affect those 3. So there's not a need in splitting it. There was something else, I don't remember what it was, but there was another game that I remember hearing about that I think they were either talking about doing that or they had already done a split because of the differences.
I know the only other catch with Switch 2 is there is no ability to down patch to switch on Switch 2. So you are on whatever current version of the game there is.
Which, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. If that matters for any games, because it can
Odyssey,
depend.
it does.
Yeah.
Because any percent and World Peace both take advantages of clips that have gotten patched out.
Mm-hmm.
Dark, I don't know. I don't know about Dark Side if it has anything like that. I know Darker Side in 880 it means absolutely nothing to have those skips in it.
Yeah, because they're so long anyway.
Yeah. What you lose not being able to do those skips, you make up for by routing better later on anyhow, so it really didn't make a difference.
Hmm. Can't think of anything. Have you tested Astral Chain?
I have not, but any game that's got a lot of loading, it's going to go quicker.
I was curious how that was.
General oversight of everything.
That's like the one game I think I'm like genuinely curious how it is doing on Switch 2, because on Switch 1 it was fine. Because I didn't notice any problems on it.
Because I do want to point this out, why I said what I said just then about the loading. Go back and listen to some of the comments I made at the beginning of the archipelago yesterday. Mario vs. Donkey Kong does actually load a lot quicker on Switch 2.
Yeah.
I did not realize just how much of a difference there was until yesterday. And I had barely touched it on Switch 2. So I'm like, oh, if I can notice that, then Which now makes me want to go back and actually kind of hard push for something on Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but because the Switch 2 is overpowered.
I think that's like the only game that I'm like, this feels like it's kind of slipped through the coverage people have had about like Switch 2 stuff.
I'd never played enough of it. I'm pretty sure it was pretty load heavy though. So it should speed it up.
Yeah.
Because that's generally the consensus between all of the Switch games. Playing them on Switch 2, they're going to load quicker.
Yeah. But I guess anything else?
No.
So most of my stuff has been the mobile game fairs. They put out the new Eevee set in Pocket TCG. I had the dumbest first 2 packs ever for that game. Does you want to know what was in my first 2 packs?
What?
A shiny Pokemon apiece. Back to back. I got a shiny Articuno, which is a shiny EX, and a shiny Electrode, which is just a regular shiny. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I tried out Marvel Mystic Mayhem, which is a new like RPG kind of Marvel game that they put out. It was fine. Have you ever played Strike Force?
No, actually.
Okay, it feels kind of similar to that on the back end of it. Gameplay wise, your characters auto move and auto attack enemies, and you're just kind of waiting for a bar to fill to play a card that is like an attack of one of the 3 characters you play as, and then you have a separate cooldown or separate charge for each of their supers. But some of your regular abilities do cause the character to move. So you kind of like have to think about what card to use and stuff. It was fine, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling it after a little bit, so I stopped and uninstalled it. I did try out the Persona 5 gacha game that finally came outside of China. It is very much a Persona game at the end of the day. Like, it plays and is a story. It feels like honestly, it feels like Persona 5 in a lot of ways. Like, your first proper party member feels like this weird fusion dance of Ryuji and An in terms of what their backstory is. And I don't know how intentional that is, because they seem to be playing with this idea that you're in some maybe parallel version of the Persona 5's world, but the Persona 5 cast are not Phantom Thieves. You and your crew are? I don't know. I only did like one session of it and it was fine. Chipping away at temple stuff for Zenless. I've almost got it maxed out. And I'm at the point with Super Robot Wars T where I just have to get 2 characters leveled up, have one use a specific move, and the other one just level up a specific skill they have, and then buy 2 items, and then that is actually all of the achievements that does not require me just to speed run the game now. So once those 2 are set and good, and I've done those and bought the items, because there's an achievement for buying all of these specific items in the shop, and the 2 of the items, or a lot of the items, don't unlock unless you do specific requirements. And the specific requirements are this character or this skill needs to be at this level, and then you need to use this like move specifically. And the only way I can do those is if they're like level 50 something. So I'm just kind of like getting them through levels as fast as I can. But once I do that, there's that achievement done, which leaves me, if I can pull up the list real quick, that leaves me just seeing the male protagonist ending, since I've already ran through the game with the female protagonist. Having all 5 emblems, which the 5th emblem I'm missing, I'm getting automatically because I'm playing on a harder difficulty. Because the 5th emblem I didn't get before. You have to do these specific requirements per map to get a point. And if you get all the points, you get an emblem. But since I'm playing on a higher difficulty, I don't have to do those specific requirements. I just have to beat the map. So there's that. And then there's a achievement for getting those points. So once I have those, I'll have platinum the game. Ahead of Super Robot Wars Y coming out in a couple months or so. Yay. But that's basically been it. I have a job thing Tuesday. I don't want to say interview because it's technically not an interview, I think, but I don't know if I'm being offered a job Tuesday after a tour and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope. It'd be nice. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it, because if I do this, if I did that every time I ever sent an application and never got a call back, I would probably have gone insane by now. To be perfectly honest. It has been rough. So yeah. I guess look forward to hearing about that Thursday on stream.
Presumably.
Yeah. That's basically it. Anything else before we hit the news?
No.
All right then. Bonanza Direct. So Pauline is here as baby. Not really baby. She's
not
like
baby.
not literal baby. But
13,
she is a small child.
I think is what they actually, from the Nintendo Now app, even said. So
I think it's that, and like the Bonanza website somewhere said she's that age, but yeah. We have Pauline as child. Which we kind of knew that because they accidentally put the art out when the game was first announced. Oops. Which is actually a different art than we've got now, because they changed her outfit between the two arts. Because her outfit in that leaked art is more like the outfit she has for the amiibo. But it's not quite the same outfit. So that was actually like a beta art of some kind that leaked out. But yeah, Pauline is here, and with the power of music, you and Donkey Kong will travel to the core of the planet so Pauline can go back home. DK has got a whole bunch of moves and skills and stuff. He has so much movement tech. I love how much movement tech he has. He also has a skill tree, which I wonder how that'll affect routing. Cranky Kong, Randy, Diddy, and Dixie are back in this game. It seems like Diddy and Dixie are going to act like shopkeepers for you and opponents in a Rambi racing mini game. And Cranky is here to be an old man at you and yell at you, basically.
Which completely throws all continuity out the window.
Oh god, yeah, it's just like... How about the Donkey Kong crew aged slower than everyone else? As long as we're ignoring the one Yoshi's Island game where Donkey Kong was a baby at the same time as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. See, when you have to put that except, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, look, Nintendo cares about their wider continuity of their games.
No,
as bad as much as no, they don't. I was supposed to say as bad as much as you would expect it to be, which is not at all. How many times has Bowser kidnapped Peach?
Yes.
Like, how many of the Mario games are basically the same plot?
I mean, all of them.
Yeah. It's like, maybe don't overthink this, folks. Don't worry about it. DK also has some transformations. So he can go Super Saiyan, he can go Zebra Saiyan, or he can go Ostrich Saiyan. I do like that you can freely swap between them, and there's no real penalty.
It
seemed like, yeah. Because it seemed like the meter was the same as you were swapping between them in the one demonstration they had of it. Which I feel like is good that they're letting you go, okay, you are in the enhanced state, you can swap between basically your 3 movesets. Freely, you just are on a timer still. We have the Void Company as our bad guys. They are all 3 Kongs, which I was about to say, I thought it was the first time we had Kongs as bad guys, but then the Jungle Beat games got reminded me, or a video talking about all the Kongs reminded me, oh right, there's a bunch of evil Kongs in that one, so never mind. We have basically the little inner areas from Odyssey as little challenge areas. We do have different collectibles that can be used for stuff. So we got chips that can be traded for extra bananium. We have gold that we can purchase stuff with. We have fossils that we use for costumes for both Donkey Kong and Pauline. So you can give them both costumes. And you also get music discs that have music and stuff. Photo mode. There is a co-op where one of you is playing as Pauline and you're throwing automatopoeia at people of different different types of material. There is an assist mode. There is a sculpting mode where you can sculpt different stuff. And we get an amiibo, a Donkey Kong and Pauline amiibo that gives Pauline a dress similar to her current outfit. All of this is available July 17th. How are you feeling after this direct?
I'm ready for it.
Same.
This is probably going to be the closest we're going to get to a Mario game this year, so.
Yeah. I am very happy. It looks very good and very fun. Like, that is all I care about at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, this has weird, dumb lore implications. Except when you consider that this probably is acting as a prequel to Odyssey, because this is the setup for Pauline in New Donk City.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait for that to not be acknowledged in the game once. It'll be hilarious when it isn't. But it just looks fun and like I would love to play this game eventually.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's all I have to say on it. Anything else?
No.
All right, Capcom Showcase. We've got Pragmata gameplay. You remember Pragmata?
Nope.
Fair. That was announced like 3 or some odd years ago with the CG trailer, and then nothing ever since. So this is a third-person shooter mixed with like hacking mini games you're doing at the same time to like break open enemies' armors in order to shoot them. It seems odd, and I wonder how the game will play out in long run, but it seems neat enough. But like, it seems nice. They showed a trailer for Sagat for Street Fighter 6. He's coming August 5th. They also showed a bunch of swimsuit costumes for various characters. They kind of talked about Resident Evil 9 Requiem, but they didn't really show anything new. They're just like, hey, we considered Leon, but then we said no Leon because we wanted a spooky, scary Resident Evil game. And I go, okay. I guess that addresses the rumors, kind of, that Leon's playable in this game, but I think Leon is still playable in this game. You can go third person or first person. We are back in Raccoon City in the bombed out remains of it after, it got nuked in 3. Well, 2/3. Monster Wild showed some of the new title update stuff. Kinitsugami gets a little guy that gives you some retro music, and that was it. So, how do you feel about the Capcom Presents?
It was definitely a thing.
It is certainly a lot of things I do not care about. Because I'm like, okay, Kinitsugami seems neat, but I haven't played it. I'm not playing Wilds because the one time I tried to play it, it ran terribly for me, so no. You're not really telling me much about RE9. I'm not a Street Fighter person, and Pragmata seems neat, but I'm not really sold on it, so all I have to say is, where's my Ace Attorney game? Damn it, where's my new Ace Attorney game? Those collections sold well.
Somewhere.
A new Ace Attorney game would be cheap as fuck to make and get out the door. Those collections did well enough that you could sell me a cheap ass fucking Ace Attorney game. Come on.
Yeah, but they don't want to.
But yeah, the Capcom. Yeah. The Capcom Presents is fine. Any thoughts? Any other thoughts?
Nah.
All right, Arc System Works Showcase. showed off a bunch of not fighting game stuff. So we have Dear Me I Was, which is apparently a textless interactive adventure game coming to Switch 2. This looks fine. Is directed by Taizuki Kanasaki from the Another Code stuff. We have Double Dragon Revive.
I mean, that's a fighting-esque game.
It's a beat-em-up game. It's another Double Dragon game. I swear this is like the 4th or 5th new Double Dragon game in the last like 8 years that have nothing to do with each other.
I mean, sure they do. They're Double Dragon games.
We have Demon's Night Fever, which is certainly something. This trailer is not giving me anything as I skim through it. We have a Bubble Bobble game. It's an adventure-style Bubble Bobble game, not the puzzle-style Bubble Bobble game. Hooray. Damn it, a baby. Top-down adventure game. This looks fine. I'll be honest, I did not actually sit down and watch the Arc System Works stream, so this is the only stuff I've seen from it. There might be other stuff, but like, yeah. How do you feel about Arc System Works Showcase? I think this is like the first time they've ever done a showcase.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
That's about all that can be said for that one.
Like, some of the stuff seems neat. I don't know. I don't think they did any updates for Tokon, which I think a lot of people were looking forward to amongst, you know, other fighting game stuff. So, yeah. It's not the worst thing I ever seen showcase-wise, but it's definitely not anything interesting.
It's not the worst, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then. So you know how Microsoft is trying to like expand all this stuff?
Yes, quote unquote expand.
Yeah. How would you like our 4th round of layoffs? In 18 months at Microsoft. 4th round of layoffs. Major layoffs even. That apparently we'll probably see cuts across like their studios and stuff. And as one podcast I was listening to put it, probably a lot of their hardware division, since you know they're not making Xboxes anymore.
Well, I mean that's all the layoffs right there. We're not making a box anymore. We don't need you.
We are putting stickers on boxes. We don't need 500 people to make stickers for boxes anymore. But yeah, this will apparently be happening this next week. The news came from Jason Schreier, so yeah, this is happening, and it sucks. And better news? I questioned. Do you remember driects Drive from the Nintendo Directs?
I remember that we're not only having this as an August release. There is no way.
So this is that wheelchair basketball game that looks very tech demo-y, but they're throwing this out the door in August on the eShop. This is an eShop only title.
For $20.
Yes. Does it feel like Nintendo has like no confidence in this game?
It almost feels like they see this, realize that it is a concept like ARMS but with less polish, and said, yeah, we're fine, send it out the door. Because I've seen a lot of people even say if there was some more color or if they Nintendo-fied it a little bit, then this could probably be a good game.
If they had characters of any kind.
I did agree with something that was said. And I can understand if this might be the reason they went this direction with it. It would almost feel like a slap in the face if you saw Mario characters in wheelchairs, and that would be the direction they would go if they were trying to put characters in it.
Yeah.
And I read that on Reddit is one of the comments, and I'm like, yeah, I can agree with that. That would just be a slap in the face right there if you did that. But at the same time, it needs something.
It would help to have characters in this basketball game instead of generic, like, Toonami looking robots.
Okay, you say that. Look at ARMS. We had generic characters that had color. The only difference between this and that is how much color is just gone from this. I don't know if Nintendo's the best at making new characters right now. I feel like we got lucky with Splatoon and that's it.
Yeah, because they've all but abandoned ARMS.
Yeah. It's one of those, I'm like, I almost have to wonder if maybe they need someone that can breathe some life in there and kind of get new IPs off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not saying abandon Mario, Zelda, all of that. No, just if they're wanting to experiment with stuff like this, maybe get someone in there that creates a group of characters that's what they're meant for. Like how Waluigi kind of is in the sports and party games, where he's just there for those only. Why can't we do something similar with this and just be like, okay, we're going to create a cast that is purely there for these games?
Any other thoughts on it?
Besides the fact that there is no way this is the only thing coming out in August, no. I part of me feels like we've had rumors for, the Prime 2 being ready to be shipped out the door. Part of me feels like we're going to get a shadow drop, and August is probably going to have a direct. It wouldn't surprise me if July we didn't have an indie direct and then August we have a proper direct, because we still don't have release dates for certain things for the end of the year. Because I didn't realize Kirby Air Riders was... I actually forgot. It's supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
We don't have a release date for it. We don't have a release date for Prime 4. We don't have a widely known release date for ZA, because I don't think they've actually announced it proper yet in a direct, have they?
They dropped it on like Twitter and stuff, but they haven't done
They haven't done anything else.
Yeah, because it's
Meaning
slated
they've
for
not
October.
widely done it then. We're due for at least one more big direct within the next month or two. I would be leaning more towards July have an indie direct, because they won't want to overshadow Bonanza.
Yeah.
August having an actual direct, and that maybe we might have a shadow drop alongside this and maybe something else, because I can't see them doing this on its own. If they do that, that's just suicide right there.
Yeah, I feel like they have stuff cooking for the holiday season, which is kind of what we're waiting on.
I wouldn't be surprised if October's Pokemon, November's Prime 4, and December's Kirby Air Riders. Which means we've got to have stuff for August and September. And I don't think a Splatoon spinoff is going to be a big enough hitter to pull off either of those months on their own either.
New Fire Emblem.
Yeah, we ain't heard crap about that, so I doubt it.
New thing from Monolith Soft, because I have no idea what they're cooking.
I saw someone say something about the new Hyrule Warriors could fill one of those slots. Like
yeah,
later in. Here's the problem I have with that. Even though that's using first-party characters, that's not a first-party game.
Yeah, that's the usual Warriors team making another Hyrule Warriors.
You can't count that in when you're counting first-party stuff. They're going to weigh that into consideration. And if, say, Hyrule Warriors is slated for September, then they're probably not going to put another heavy hitter with it. But at the same time, that's not necessarily a Nintendo is going to bank on that kind of deal. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see something like this in Prime 2 in August, and Splatoon Raiders and maybe Prime 3 in September. And then us have the big hit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I honestly think Mario Kart World and Bonanza is probably going to have to be the two to kind of hold it in place until Pokemon, really. Because I think at this point they're going to want to bank on having enough games that can sell the console come holiday.
Yeah.
Hence why Drag Drive has kind of been put in the August slot.
Yeah. Even though I said I would love a new Fire Emblem.
Discord?
For some reason, when I pulled up Epic, everything on my computer locked down for a second. I was like, what the hell?
Uh-huh.
What the fuck, Epic?
What you were saying about Fire Emblem?
Well, as much as I'm like, new Fire Emblem, I'm like, Engage wasn't that particularly great. Like, it was fine, but coming off Three Houses, it feels lacking. And that's mainly just, like, gameplay-wise, it's fine. It's just character story-wise, it feels lacking coming off of Three Houses. So I'm like, if we get a new Fire Emblem, kind of have to bring up that quality to, like, what we got off of Three Houses, because Three Houses was really good. And I don't know if they're going to do that. Because the last I heard, in terms of what we were supposed to get for Fire Emblem, it's like a Genealogy of the Holy War remake. It was like Fire Emblem 4. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure someone's excited for that.
Someone somewhere.
Yeah. Like, I know folks would be excited for that, but I'm like, oh, another remake. Neat, I guess. Like, at least it's been a while since we had a remake. Because the last time we had a remake was Shadows of Valentia on, like, the 3DS. And that should tell you everything about how long it's been. But I guess anything else?
No.
All right, then. Sonic Racing announced its DLC plans. So already we're getting Joker from Persona, Ichiban from Like a Dragon, Hatsune Miku from whatever the fuck she's from, and Minecraft. But now we're also getting SpongeBob. You get SpongeBob and Patrick and a shared cart, and then a track. And they are also going to be doing stuff for Avatar and for the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yay! Could you put more Sega stuff in there?
No, because then it would be another Sonic and All Stars Racing.
I mean, these are at least a bump up from, I guess, what, Yogscast and Danica Patrick, basically? From, like, whichever the Sonic All-Star games they were in.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, there's more Sega stuff you could throw in here instead of going into basically the Paramount catalog of material. Granted, I feel like they wanted one of these three, and then Paramount went, you have to take the other stuff. You can't just do one thing from us. You have to do more.
Probably.
That feels like the deal that happened. But yeah, I don't know if they gave a date for the SpongeBob stuff. They did not, it looks like. So game is out September 25th. All DLC stuff will be out sometime afterwards. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then. As a part of investor meetings and stuff, Sega accidentally put out some sales numbers for us. So we now have sales numbers for a lot of their recent titles. So just to hit some of the stuff in a specific order, just to give an idea, Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was the new Yakuza, the starting of the RPG stuff, did 2.86 million units. Evident Wealth did 1.66, and then the Like Dragon Gaiden, Man Who Erased Their Name, did 0.96 million. Persona 3 Reload did 2.07 million. Sonic Superstars did 2.43. Sonic Frontiers did 4.57. Total War Warhammer 3 did 2.34. SMT 5, including Vengeance, did 2.1. Persona 5 Royal, including a remastered version, did 7.25 million. Team Sonic Racing did 3.5, and then Total War Kingdom did 3.21. Weirdly, those Yakuza numbers make sense to me, because Like a Dragon felt like a fresh entry point for folks into Yakuza with the new protagonist and the new game system and all that stuff. But guess what happened with Infinite Wealth and the Gaiden game?
It went right back to where we were.
Here's Ichiban, but also here's Kiryu, and then everyone probably went, oh fuck, I don't know what the hell's going on with Kiryu, since it's basically acting as a follow-up to 6. So that probably turned people off and made them go, oh, okay. But I liked Ichiban's first run, but yeah, that feels like what happened there. I'm surprised 3 Reload is down that much compared to Persona 5 Royal. But I also feel like a lot of people looked at 3 Reload and went, this is not what I asked for when I wanted a 3 remake, so eh. I'm kind of not surprised by Sonic Frontier being that much. It's like, what, second best on this list?
I am, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's got the same problem that a lot of open world games are having right now, where it's too open and not enough world.
It is too big.
And I feel like that's a turn away.
Yeah, I'm also not surprised by SMT. I'm surprised SMT got more than Persona 3, but I'm also not surprised it's that low. SMT is the more hardcore, more for you difficulty nuts SMT stuff. Persona is more open and inviting for folks. So I'm not surprised people were turned off on SMT. Possibly being like, oh, this is too hard. This is too much. But otherwise, some of these numbers are lining up. But yeah, that was basically it. I guess any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then that is all the news. We are post Summer Game Fest stuff, so it is a short time, folks. Releases. Where to start? I will start. Uno starter pack add-on board and card coming out on the 30th. On July 1st, No More Heroes 2 for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 3rd, Harvest Moon, The Lost Valley, and Harvest Moon Skytree Village for the Switch. Also, Super Mario Strikers will be on the GameCube emulator on Switch 2 that day as well. So now you get the better soccer game.
that we won't be hitting quite yet.
Yeah, because I feel like Strikers and then the Wii one are the better like Mario soccer games. Because unfortunately, for whatever reason, Nintendo have been lacking on their Mario sports titles on the Switch. It feels like they just don't have that magic that they had before. Let's see. On the 7th, the EA Sports Challenge or Sports College Football 26 for Series X and PlayStation 5. On the 10th, The Last of Us Complete Collector's Edition for PS5. On the 11th, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster for Series X, PlayStation 5, and Switch. And Patapon 1+2 Replay for PS5 and Switch. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, and Switch 2. And on 12th, Eden Zero for Series X and PlayStation 5. And that's the highlights. You can see the full list in the notes. So, anything else?
No.
All right, then. Thursday, more CAD. Friday, it's oh crap.
Sunshine.
I forgot. Sunshine. We are doing Sunshine of some variety. Whatever variety that might be, it will be Sunshine. Saturday, we continue the Archipelago. Can we get another game beat?
I think we'll be able to finish it.
More than likely.
We're almost at the point of, I think probably mine are all going to end up finishing first this time around.
Yeah.
Ace Attorney's going to be the ones that are just going to take you forever.
Yeah, I'll have to see which case I can beat the fastest.
It wouldn't surprise me if we're going to end up working our way to finishing Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and that is either going to finish Mario Kart World or get me close enough to Sonic Adventure 2 being finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just going to cascade from there. But I honestly think Mario vs. Donkey Kong's probably going to be the first one to finish out of what's left.
That'll be Saturday. And the next Sunday, we continue our run through of Gaim.
And by next Sunday, I'll probably be finished with my rewatch of Double.
Hooray! But yeah, and in 2 weeks we'll be back here to talk about. I think isn't the Pokemon Showcase in the next 2 weeks?
I don't know. You keep up with that one more than I do. Mainly because I don't pay much mind to
Fair.
the Pokemon stuff.
No. It's slated for the 22nd. It'll be the week after we do the next show.
Sounds about right.
So no Pokemon Presents talk.
More
Until
than
like a
likely
week
a
after.
direct.
I hope so. But yeah, that's the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat. Get to the YouTube archive for this and all of our other streams eventually. Right now, a bunch of solo stuff's going out for me to kind of catch up to where we're at in terms of uploads. Once that's done, we'll be moving into 2022 stuff in general. So that is the schedule ahead for that stuff. Exclamation point social and chat gives you the handles for all of our social media. And exclamation point Discord and chat gets us a link. Drop by, say hi, and we'll see you Thursday, folks.